Howdy, all y'all. It's Easter Eve, so happy Easter to anybody who's, uh, well, of the persuasion. So anyway, I got the house opened up today, and because I get really good cross flow, and I've been kind of doing my housework and stuff like that. But anyway, I've been working on my GMC truck, and over the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, and just getting the little nitty gritty stuff done. And I finally finished the last stage of what I've done with the truck. So anyway, this is kind of an intro. It just started out with me wanting to do the dash lights on my truck, and I ended up doing the dash lights. Ended up pulling the steering wheel, changing the ignition lock, because the whole time I've had the truck, I haven't had it to use an ignition key. Then I found a mechanic who said he would do the passenger side axle seal for $100, and I was like, sold American. So I had him do that, paid him $100 cash, and he installed my rear shocks. One of my shock mounts was kind of broken, and at some point I had to get my frame welded. But it's working fine now. So he did the rear shocks for me. I personally didn't want to do that one shock, so that's one of the big reasons why. He spent half a day working on my truck, and I could tell when he got tired, because he was actually supposed to tighten down the bed bolts, the carriage bolts on the bed, but I could tell he was done, and for the price, I'm not going to gripe. So I gave him $130, $140, because he only needed $100. But he's a aspiring businessman, and so who am I to cheat him out of his time completely? So it was worth it for me, and I'm not just giving money away. It's called goodwill. So I got the axle seal done on the GMC Ladybug. I got the rear shocks done, like a job I didn't want to do. I tightened down the bed bolts myself. Got my dash lights fixed. Got my ignition switch fixed. I spent a day installing not a day, but half a day, the front shocks, because those are easy. They're right in front. The driver's side one is more difficult than the passenger side one. The passenger side one I had done in like 8 minutes. So I got that done. I almost started undoing the exhaust manifold gaskets, and I just ran out of gumption for it. But one of the other goals is I wanted to update all of the lights on Ladybug. So I went through and systematically replaced the front turn signal lenses and the housings, and then I did the parking lights on the side, and then I did the rear tail lights, and that whole thing, doing all of that, cost me less than $100, and it was super easy to do. So anyway, this is kind of telling you what I want to do, or have gotten done with my truck, and I'm gonna make a video kind of to show the difference, kind of the progression on that truck. Now, I'll do a trailer to this saying what I eventually want to do with the truck, if anybody makes it that far. So I have very specific plans of what I want to do with the truck, and kind of a story. Hopefully it's humorous. So anyway, thanks for watching, and enjoy the show. Well, I just realized I made my intro and I forgot to mention one part. I got a frog in my throat. My truck, Ladybug, is as close to original as you can possibly get a 84 GMC. It's still got everything on it. It's rated for 8,600 pounds. So it doesn't have catalytic converters and it doesn't have EGR, but it does have what's called a thermactor pump. And basically it's a air pump that pumps air into the exhaust manifolds to help burn off the hydrocarbons. Now I'm not going to say plus or minus or anything like that, but how can I say it? It's really noisy, and anybody who walks up to the truck will say, "What's wrong with your truck?" Well, I found a way to make the truck quieter. I'll put it that way, because I don't need any jackbooted Nazis coming up and threatening to destroy my life because I'm taking care of business. So anyway, I have driven the truck. I took it on a road trip just for the fun of it, and its sweet spot is 70 miles an hour, period. It'll go 80, but it burns crazy gas when you go that. And 70 is turning 3,000 RPM, which is kind of like a harmonic sweet spot with small block Chevys for just cruising without trying to beat the clock. So anyway, that's the part I missed. So when you hear that noise, that thermactor noise, it's the air pump. So yeah, that's going to get fixed because I can't handle the noise. Eventually I'm going to get headers on it, but I don't know how much. I'm beyond my youthful crazy days, and when I do a video of what I want to do, it's going to be crazy to do the headers because my truck has air conditioning and it has power steering and it has everything on it, and it's a lot of stuff to take apart. But this time, instead of being stuck in the winter having to get things done overnight, I gotta go buy a wire wheel and stuff like that, and I don't like the texture that glass beading does, and I'm sure there's a way. But anyway, what I want to do is I want to do everything that I have access to when I take it apart. I want to put it back together so that it's clean, because I haven't done anything with the truck really except for head gaskets since I got it in 2012. So anyway, I'm rambling, and there it is. Thanks for watching. Alright, this is going to be kind of a before and after. My front side marker lights don't seem to work on one side and on the other side. So that means I need to change the bulb. And I want to change the ambers, but I haven't bothered to look, see how much those will cost. But so I've been driving since 2012 with my front lenses like that. That doesn't look so great. So I need to change a bulb on that one. Never knew that. And there's my tail lights. So I bought a pair for 36 bucks. I want the sequential ones, but those are 200 bucks. I can't buy those yet. So there's that. I'm missing some trim. I want to get matching headlights. This one's got condensation in it, so it's gonna fail on me at some point. This one says it's halogen, Sylvania. And this damage was already there. when I got the truck, and that's there's I don't think there's such thing as a square body Chevy that's not suffered damage right there. And that was from a blowout just before Kingman, Arizona. And I've never changed that. But this fender panel is $700. And then I had to have somebody install it because I don't know how. So that's going to be my outdoor project for today, is to change my front lenses because I got those just the other day. So I need to turn my lights off before I forget about them. Come out and have a dead battery. There's that. All my screws and stuff in there. And my turn signal, the bottom clicker stopped working, so I got to tear everything apart, put a new seat cover in. Yeah, I know, it's kind of messy. So, anyway, truck already came with new carpet and everything. I figured since it was black, I should get a seat cover that matches it. I'll probably do the door panels black too, and that'll take time. It needs a new dash panel. And they carved out the radio, so I don't know what to do with that yet. It's still got the tabs, but it's all cut apart. And when I get the new bezel in there, I'll figure that out. Anyway, that's that for now. Bye. So, you know, as soon as you start a project, everybody starts calling. And of course it's Easter. So everybody's all, what you doing? Da, 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 da. Everything. So I guess tomorrow my day is booked. So I have to go to church in the morning. Anyway, I was going to post what I really want to do with my GMC. And, well, I actually pretty much like it the way it is. The only thing is the drive line. I want to do a 400 cubic inch small block with the Camaro cam. It's the camshaft that comes after the L79, the 350 horse 327 cam. I forget the name of that cam. I should have looked it up, but other mechanic guys will know the one I'm talking about. I want the Camaro camshaft because it works a little bit better with lower compression. Because I only want 9.5 compression for this 400. And it's going to be almost just like the other 350 that I want to build, except for I want small combustion chambers with a D cup for the 9.5 compression, because I think, this is just my theory, not that I actually know, is I want more combustion pressure surface area on the piston where it's doing work than on a big combustion chamber. So if I could get away with a breathable, well, it's probably end up being 72cc combustion chamber with good valves, radius valve job and everything like that. It's only good for a couple 1,000 miles for the advantage on it. But, you know, windage tray, scraper, crank scraper, and all that stuff. But I want the heads and the block to be iron. And there's a couple companies that make the 400 cubic inch block. So, you know, I just want that kind of engine with a Rochester Quadrajet and my normal stuff that I like. But the difference will be is I can't decide if I want in. You have to forgive me because I'm behind the times on transmissions. You have the 700R4, which apparently has really wide gear ratios. I think this engine would be just fine with it, but I guess there's a longevity problem with the 700R4. Or and if, forgive me if I'm wrong, the 480LE, which is the heavier duty. It's like the Turbo 400 of overdrive transmissions, which the gear ratios are closer together. But what I want to do, and I don't know why this sticks in my head, I want a full floater rear end, the 10.5-inch full floater, and I want 433 to 1 gears with the 30-inch tires. But I want the overdrive transmission. But even with the overdrive transmission, and the 433s, my RPM, the cruise RPM, is still going to be a little bit too high for what I want to do. So the next thing would be, it's the only overdrive company that I know of. So if I'm popping a name, it's only because it's the only one I know of. And I want to do a Gear Vendors overdrive on top of the overdrive of the 480LE. That way, I can go 80 miles an hour. In Utah right now, I don't know what the deal is, but people are cruising at 100 miles an hour going south from Salt Lake to Vegas, and I don't know what's changed on it, but I don't want to get run over. I think it's a safety hazard to be going 20 miles an hour or 30 miles an hour slower than the prevailing traffic. And I'm going to be running a gasoline engine because I don't know anything about turbo diesels. And I don't have a bias against it or anything. It's just, I don't know. As far as I know, you just keep boosting it till it explodes or splits the block in half. And that's not the purpose. I want to do in this truck, if I were to win the lottery, I would have this truck built for me so that I can start driving across the United States and doing my own thing. So what I want the most is I'm going to keep my 2 saddle tanks, which are 20-gallon saddle tanks, which actually hold 22 gallons each. And then where the spare tire is, because the tires nowadays are so good that it's really not a concern unless you're not checking your tires and you're running your tire pressures, too much tire pressure loaded or too little tire pressure with too far away from the recommended maximum. Then your tires just start to overheat, in my opinion. So I want 2 20-gallon tanks, and then I want a 42-gallon Suburban tank, and I want it piped so that it looks like a factory install with a door for the gas and everything like that from a Suburban body. So that's what I want, and I want a flip-flop valve, but I don't want the valve inside I want the flip-flop part inside the cab because I'm just the perfect height. I can reach down and go front back. So the right hand side or left hand side tank and the back tank are tied together. So I would just use up the fuel in the back tank, and then when it runs out, because it'll go sputter, just flip it over, and then I start on my 2 tanks on that. I just want that because that's what I want. The only thing is, I like the stance of my truck. I like big and littles. So the thing is, what I want to do is I need to have the stance so that my rear tank isn't siphoning and overfilling the front tank, because the vent doesn't have a popper valve, and so I don't know how I'll work that. I'll leave that up to whoever builds the truck for me. I'm I reached the point where I've gotten tired of doing my own stuff. So anyway, that's all I want to do with that truck is just build it so that I can go 80 miles an hour all day long and go as far as I can on a single load of fuel before I need to fill up. The only problem with the 42 gallon gas tank, which I've run into with my Excursion, is once you get up around $100 on one credit card or whatever, and I don't want to be carrying cash with me on a trip like this. So once you get up to around $100, the fuel pump's shut off, and then you have to switch over to another credit card, and then it's only $5 more, which is kind of annoying because when I do check my gas mileage and stuff like that, that's just part of what I do. It's kind of makes it more difficult, and that's it. So that's the end of the GMC Ladybug trucks saga for now. The engine that I've got in it right now, I'm gonna, till I have the cash to have an engine built for me. That's just the engine I'm gonna use. I might put some 1.6 to 1 rockers in it just for the heck of it. Steel ones. And there's one company that makes really good stuff that's reliable. And that's about it. The 30-degree valve job on the existing engine, on the back cut, and the 1.6 to 1 rockers with the stock cam. And that's all I'm going to do for right now for the engine, except for maybe install some headers to get rid of that thermactor pump. Oops. Now I'm gonna be in trouble because somebody's gonna come over and say, "We want to inspect your truck, sir." So welcome to America. Anyway, happy Easter if you're watching this on Easter, and if you're not of the persuasion, well, you know, the universe is gonna bless you anyway. So there. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.